I have been using ePEARL for a number of years, even before it was even called ePEARL. So this is my 6.5 year using electronic portfolios. So I've been sort of part of this whole learning process and part of the research. Um, I love the tool. I love the tool in that it really allows the children and I to focus on a shared passion of integrating technology into the classroom. That is something that was my personal, challenge and growth about 9 years ago, and I've embraced it. And so that passion that I have to learn more, we share together. They teach me, I teach them. What I have done for me when I have the 6-year-olds coming into the class is they do a personal portfolio. They know they have an assessment portfolio from kindergarten. When they came into the class, we use what we call a personal portfolio where they introduce themselves. So they know that it is a collection of things for themselves. When we get into the ePEARL, which is the electronic portfolio, I tell them that this is a collection of their writing. It's a collection of their readings. Primarily when I introduce it, it is reading only, because we're not in the mode yet for writing. When I introduce the interface, I would have a projector, as Louise has already shown you, but I would put it up on the ceiling. So we lie down, we look at it so that they can see what they're going to see when they get into the computer lab. And for me, that's important to do that. I have to model what we're going to do, because at least you can get maybe 50% of your kids will have internalized it, so that when you get to the lab, you've got only 50% to look after, to meet those 20 questions. So that's how I would do it. So we would talk about it. What is it going to look like when you click on? I click on the button. What's it going to look like when we see? Look at the words that we look at. So we go into the website. What I have to click on. What does it mean to log in? So LOGIN, and we talk about that word in the word family. So once we've done that, then I show them, much like we've said before, is how do you log in? So I have it in print. It's always inside the computer. In the first couple of months of walking through with the children, and I don't usually do this until October, I, at that point, will find out who is more, technologically savvy than others. It is that child that I work with on a one-on-one. I keep them in at recess or at lunchtime, and I teach them how to do it. They then become my technicians. So usually if I have like 20 kids, I have 6 children, and I know I can go, they know exactly what to do. So when the children go to the computer center in the classroom, they always go with the technician. They choose which technician they want to work with, or it might be me, depending on the dynamic of the day, or those 2 particular kids. They go together. So one is always doing the typing, one sets it up, the other one is just prepping for reading. As I said, this is just primarily a reading portfolio that I'm using it at. So there's always that support that's there. So one only concentrates on one aspect of it, and then the other one is providing the technological support. So here, just showing you some examples of the supports that are there on the computer table for them. The keyboard, working with a technician. The reader is the one that is reading his level text, or it could be, that day a choice that I have given them. Oftentimes, it's their instructional level of text that I've given them. So they take it from their basket, they practice reading it first, then they go in, they know how to put the headset on, they know how to record. So they have a 1-minute and 30-second clip, which I find is very, that's very age appropriate for this. When they go in, they always type in the author, and that's a little bit tedious for them. The author, the title, yes, but the author, they have to do, that's a required field. The date's automatic, which is great. Who they're reading with, so who their technician is, what their goal is. Now, we do goal setting in our class, but more often than not, for 6-year-olds, it's the same goal. I want to read well, I want to do my best, which is great. then, starting with that, that becomes a teaching moment as well. What do we mean by a goal? What do you want to do when you're doing anything in life? Think about it, reflect on it, which is where we bring in the word reflect, and tell yourself, what do you want to do here? What do you want to do? Well, I want to read, or if you want to write, like, do you want to, how do you want to write a good sentence? What are you going to write about? So it's getting them to plan. So it's this initial preparation on those steps that, that we need for the cycle 2s and cycle 3s. So we looked at, what does it mean to goal set? So we discussed that. Taking the time to choose your material. They can choose sometimes their own recreational book. We have words of the week. There's spelling words. It could be the words they need to know in grade 1. So they go through their list. And we practice that, reading each word. So they have their list of words. They record themselves. They listen to that. We've done math. What's your favorite number? Talk about why is it your favorite number. They do a picture of their favorite number. They've done subtraction. So practice their subtraction facts of 4 or addition facts. And so they're recording themselves doing that. They have drawn pictures of their addition quizzes, for instance, and inserted that into their portfolio. In this ePEARL, it's a reading. They can respond, reflect. They can insert a picture. They can respond both with a picture, respond with writing, or respond with a voice clip as well. Within the modeling and the discussions, we always sit back and think about what did that story mean to you? And so I usually target a particular question for them. We often start off with, did you like the book, did you not like the book? Or did it remind you of another one? I use, a number of reading programs, including Daily 5 in the class, but we always do schema. They know the word schema. Did it remind you of something? Did it remind you of another text to text? Did it remind you of text to self? That type of thing. So I often start off with telling them how to respond. In which manner do I want you to respond? They always do a picture. We have a digital camera in the classroom. To receive. And so the children know to take a picture, and it's on the camera. But I'm the one that inserts it into their portfolio. And I still do at this point in time. So they do a picture of their story, any scene, and then we insert it. So what you have is you have a reading, a 1-minute, 30-second clip of their reading, how they're reading, which you then can, you can map that progress of the fluency of reading, over the years, plus their levels, in your level reading program if you have one. Their artwork to that, their responses to that, and how they've reflected upon that story, what kind of reflection questions they've actually chosen in that.
We like going on it, but it would be more exciting if we could have a calendar. We could keep track of the day.
They wrote the script themselves.
I have had my portfolio for 2 years. I like it a lot. My parents like seeing it too. I wish there were more stories for my level.
With all of us, with some of our challenges and our laments, and it wouldn't be possible unless you have support. So again, it just speaks to either having a colleague to support you, or your VSC people, or your text, as I have done with my own kids, unless they have the technological support with them recording, it makes it a lot more challenging. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.